back, everybody, to another edition of the Tuesday night Muskogee Runt Football Coaches Show, live from Runt's Barbecue in Muskogee. Bill Huddelston, along with the coach of the Ruffers, Travis Hill. Travis. And this time of year to be playing football, because now you're playing win or go home.
Absolutely. I thought Runt's was good a couple of weeks ago. It's gotten better even now. No, it's the time that you look forward to. We refer to it as the third season, third and final chapter. Obviously, we refer to our patrons out here, non-district play, district play, opportunity to win and be the district champions this year. Great season there, and now it's into the playoffs and the opportunity to go after the big gold ball.
Well, there was a song that I don't remember who sang it. It was called "A Rainy Night in Georgia."
Okay.
All right. Well, it was a rainy night in Putnam City last Thursday night. Something you moved the game up to avoid Mother Nature's influence, and lo and behold, you can't mess with Mother Nature.
No, you can. It's going to do what it wants to do when it wants to do it. And Bill, but there still was so many fortunate things as you get into that. One is our kids really performed well and took care of business, and number two is at least the lightning did not come. Until right before the second.
8 seconds on the clock. 8 seconds
on the clock. So, those. Why is that such a big deal? Because those were all factors in making sure that we didn't have to come back or try to wait for 2 or 3 hours in order to remain and finish up the game. So, a lot of good things. And then I felt a little bit better when I sat at home Friday night with us in a win, and it was still pouring outside. But most of the teams were playing. They got to play on Friday night because there wasn't no lightning. But at least we were done with it and moved forward, and so good win.
Let's talk a little bit about the game itself. I mean, like you said, going into it, one of the keys, or maybe the key, was to start fast, and the Ruffers did that offensively and defensively.
Yeah, we got after it really quick, and like I said, this is whenever you're kind of proud as a coach, because you preach to these kids, and you think most of the time they probably listen to you, but there's times they don't, obviously. And so the bottom line is they prepared really well. They did the things that were necessary in order to go out and play well. They really wanted to get to that point. They got to the 9-0, one way to win, to be perfect in the season and also be a district champion, and they wanted that. And it was fun to watch that as they went about their business 7 o'clock Thursday night last week and got that big win.
36-0 was the final score, despite only having to play 24 minutes of football. You finished the season 10-0. You got the district title outright all by yourself. Mm-hmm. What all went on in the conversations between you, the Putnam City coaches, and the school's administrators in deciding how long you're going to wait, or are we just going to the house?
Like any coach, referring to their coach, Derek Lane, they're going to want to play, and I totally understood. Turn
it around the other way, you'd be the same way.
Totally understood. You can't do that. And we got some young people over listening here, but I think it's good for them to be educated with it too. And you can't go into your team and say, hey, this, because your team won't be honest with you, because they probably would look at, we want to go back out, but 36-0, come on now. And number two, as a coach, you say, hey, we're going to go ahead and move on and go to the next week. Your team feels like you failed them too. So, I think their administration did a great job. And the things that went into the decision is, one is just common sense. As you looked at the radar, we were going to be there 2 or 3 hours before we had no lightning, okay? Number two is it was a school night.
That's what I was going to ask.
School night, and so the administrators made those decisions, and the administrators, which I will go ahead and give the respect to from Putnam City North, took the responsibility, took on the blame and everything to go ahead and call the game, and that's good, because that's taken up for their coach. And so,
was there ever any concern that you still might have to finish those final 2 quarters?
Well, there always is, because I really think it was up to Derek. He'd probably find a way to get that done. I don't know that. Like I said, sometimes whenever you remove yourself from a situation a little bit and you look at common sense, they play this week. That gave them an extra night. I'm assuming they were healthy through that process of the first half. There was advantages for them not to play too. So I think probably as time went on and the evening went on, it would probably been I could see even Coach Lane probably looking at the idea this is probably better to move on and let's try another day.
I want to hear it from the players a little bit later about what was going through their mind during that rain delay, but from a coaching staff, what are you and your members of your staff, what are you guys doing, knowing what the score is and looking at your phone? And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that, like you said, we're going to be there a while.
Yeah, he was stretched. He was all the way down to Wichita Falls, Texas, coming up through our – and so, as a coach, you're just, like I said, the same thing. There's advantages for us to have played the whole game too, statistically speaking, for some of our kids and some of the things that they want to play. I mean, they love playing football. It's what they sign up for, and they didn't sign up for practice every day. They want to go play football. So, there are some things there that as coaches, but the other side of it is you just get down to the same point. What is there to gain right now? And there's really not a whole lot to gain. We was hoping in a roundabout way, especially after the third time delay, that it would restart the clock for 30 minutes.
Every time that lightning flash, boom, you went back to zero.
Go back to zero. So, after that third one, you're just kind of saying, hey, and it's about that time when their administration came around and wanted to talk and finalize it. So it worked out well. But like I said, it's a hard even for us, but we were on the one on top, and it was time to get on out and get home.
Now, first time in 44 years for a football team from Muskogee to go through the regular season 10-0. Right. That means a whole lot to the accomplishments of the first 10 weeks of the year.
Absolutely.
But now, with this playoff bracket in front of us, that means virtually nothing other than you get to rest this week.
No, it's exactly what it does. And our kids understand that, and they break it down the same way. They broke it down for since we've been turned into playoff and potential big winners in state qualifiers, state contenders,
defending state champions.
Absolutely, they understand that, and they know that, and they know it's a season of 3 sessions, and it's a little bit of a marathon, but they know the marathon's gone now. This is do or die. This is no longer game 1, 2, 3. This is game 1, and if you don't take care of business, or bad things happen, you're not setting yourself up for game 2, or you're not going to even get an opportunity for a game 2. So our kids realize where they're at. They've been there, and they've been on both sides of that. They've been the state champion, and they've lost in the semifinals. So they've got a taste of both of that, and so I think they're looking forward to going and getting a feel for this again.
We'll go into our playoff bracket a little more in depth later on in our program tonight here from Runt's Barbecue, but there are 4 teams that do get the first round bye, including the Muskogee Roughers, also Stillwater, as well as Sand Springs and Choctaw. Having been through that last year and now going into it this year, Travis, how big of a plus, other than the obvious that you don't get anybody hurt and you get some added rest time, how big of a plus is that for the Roughers here or any of these other 3 teams in the 6A2 football championship race?
I think it's huge. I think this time of year, when you've gone, we've played 7 straight, okay, and I think anytime you can take just a small break, you can work it 2 ways. I mean, we can also get rusty, but that's not the caliber of young man we have and what we're trying to get done. So it's a huge break. It's a mental break too, Bill. Sometimes that little deep breath of fresh air goes a long way with you getting prepared and wanting to prepare, where those other schools are right into the gauntlet this week that we just talked about. So I think it's to our advantage. And like I said, we're 2 days in to the bye week. You couldn't ask for better practices. You couldn't ask for better attitudes, discipline, all the 9 yards. Our kids are really in tune with that going on and had some really, really good practices the last 2 days.
Well, certainly as bad as the weather was last Thursday night, the weather has been that good the last couple of days, and hopefully that'll continue on for the next 4 weeks.
It'd be nice.
And we get a whole lot of that as we move along. We're going to take our first time out tonight from Runt's Barbecue. When we come back, we're going to meet one of the members of the coaching staff, a name that is quite familiar to Muskogee football fans, but the man that stands behind the man is Bookie. Justin Ficklin. He'll be our guest. He'll talk about his responsibilities with the defensive group and what he sees from the sideline. That after we take this opening timeout, Travis is going to dive into his food, me too, and we'll come back after this timeout from Runt's Barbecue on the Tuesday night Muskogee Rougher Football Coaches Show.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Jay Hodge here with Rick, a man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell them, Rick. Wow! New Silverado's 1.9% financing or $5,600 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New Silverado's 1.9% financing.
Wow!
Now at J. Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
There's really only one explanation for businesses who continue to thrive for decades on end, and that's a people-first mentality. Bravado employees live within our existing coverage area just like you. Our kids go to the same schools and play in the same leagues as yours. That's why so much of who we are consists of giving back to our communities, because your community is also our community. We are your family, your neighbors, and your leader in wireless mobility. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Well, 2 or 3 bites of the catfish and a piece or 2 of the grilled shrimp. Travis, how about you? You got pretty much the same thing I got on my plate.
Grilled shrimp hard, Bill. Hard, yes, sir.
Well, we're going to get after it hard in this section. The guy that knows how to get after it hard because he can pass it out as good as he can take it. And I'm talking about all the interactions that go in within the coach's locker room, Travis. Justin Ficklin can both give and take.
It'd be kind of interesting to know what he really thinks when he joined on with us and went in the to our coach's office and some of the how do I want to put this? Did you got to have some thick skin, Bill? I'll just leave it at that. Yes,
it's just part of the atmosphere of the coach's locker room.
Yep. Now there are a lot of people think that we don't get along, but it's a pretty good group. And here's the deal: he fits right in too.
Yeah, he does.
Okay,
he does. So how was that drive to Mississippi?
Besides all the rain that followed us all the way there, we had to drive all the way through that. The atmosphere at Ole Miss was amazing.
Justin is from Mississippi, and he went back to his homeland last weekend. He saw a pretty good football game, especially if you were of a Mississippi fan base.
Yes. The stadium rocked from the first kickoff to the end of the game. The stadium was rocking. Like, you could feel the stadium moving.
Talk to me about your responsibilities as a assistant coach. You, in the previous years, been over on the offensive side of things. Now you're over on the defensive side of things, your positions that you're coaching, and how much that experience from the offensive side has benefited you now as a defensive coach.
I think this year, getting back on the defensive side of things, I'm able to now look at the receivers, look at their alignments and everything, and kind of get an idea of if this receiver is actually going out or what to expect from the route he's probably going to take. As for my DBs, pushing technique, making sure they're in the right places, making sure they understand what coverage we're in, taking the right zone steps or man turns and all that type of stuff.
Now, you also played the game of high school and college football, but not as a defensive back or as a wide receiver, right?
No. I played linebacker. I played actually inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker,
yes.
Okay. So, but I'm sure that helps you in your communications with players like we're going to have one here a little bit later with in LJ.
Yes. I still understand how to actually communicate, calling the defense or, what to look for. Coach Craig, he asked me, look for, I want you to call in the signals to the defensive back. So I understand how to do that.
Travis, have you ever thought, this has happened, and it's happened in a lot of other camps, maybe some of your previous teams. When they got to playoff time against the better teams, there were times when the assistant coaches would put on the pads and get out there and go against the good guys. Is this one of those guys you could hand him the gear and say, okay, let's go good on good?
Well, we're not in the locker room right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but we're still going to give him a hard time. But I watched him catch a kickoff not too long ago.
Yeah.
He just needs to keep the pads off. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Yeah,
He's just saying that linebacker position,
right? I haven't seen that. So maybe, he could put him on and stay in that little box, that telephone booth. But that's where he needs to be.
Boogie, would you like that? Would you like to get some of your coaching compadres and get out there and go against these young guns?
So he don't be down there from time to time, but we go one-on-ones or something, I do actually go at linebacker and get a play or two in then I get back off the field. I only got about one play in.
How quickly do you have to hit the oxygen and get some?
It's real quick. It's a quick play. One quick play.
All right. Now, the obvious elephant in the room that, we got to address is you got a young man that I know you're very proud of. You watched grow up from his birth all the way to today. How difficult, challenging is it for you as a father to also be a coach, even though you don't directly coach his position? Everybody's coming to say, well, what about?
At times it get hard because if there's a mistake made, I kind of want to go up there and talk to him. But I think as the years have went along, I understand he knows what he's doing, and I know how to trust him and to do what he's going to do. Now I may go communicate to him like, hey, do this or do that, or I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, but at the end of the day, he's been doing it long
Those
enough.
long car rides, though, you can share a little film time, though.
Yes, we are always going to do that. I'm going to always give my advice, and like I tell him, it's just my advice, but you the one playing the game. You see the game in front of you. This is just me telling you what I see.
Now, last question on that relationship. Who okays the hairstyle? You or Mom?
I give up.
I mean, from the first time I met Jamarian, or as all of us know him as Bert, I remember that gold plume up there that he had, and I was like, who said that's okay? Was it you or Haley?
So, you know what? His favorite player at this time was the Honey Badger.
Oh, okay.
From LSU.
All right, yeah.
And that's where he got that hairstyle from. And he would not cut. He went 9 years with never cutting the hairstyle. And we finally got him to cut it. So it's always been a part of who he is.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
Whatever you're saying, whatever you guys are doing with the guy, with not just Bird, but also all the other guys. Hey, when it's 10-0, Travis, no need to change the game plan.
Nothing drastically, that's for sure. No.
All right. We're going to take our next time out when we come back. The guys who've been devouring their food on the other end of the table will join us. We'll meet Latavian Johnson. We'll also meet Jamarian Ficklin as our two-player guest tonight here from Runt's Barbecue. After this time out on the Tuesday night Muskogee Rougher Football Coaches Show.
Runt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts, Runt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Runt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Runt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times, when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Nobody beats the All-Star teams, now with 2 dealerships right off of West Shawnee Bypass. Together, Honda of Muskogee and All-Star CDJR have the finest selection of vehicles in town. Whether you're looking for a brand new Honda, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or a pre-owned make and model of any kind, we've got you covered. We work with all types of budgets, so why wait? Come see for yourself why nobody beats the All-Star CDJR and Honda of Muskogee teams. Go Ruffers, and have a great game.
Welcome back to Runt's Barbecue, where it's more than just a little better barbecue. It's a whole lot better barbecue. Some pretty good-looking steaks down on the other end, even though one of them was cooked, one of them wasn't. And we'll let you try to figure out just from listening to the two young men's comments as to which one had the medium rare and which one got his well done. We'll talk with two members of our football team because we always talk about the food here, but we also have to talk about the service we get here because truly Muskogee Referee football is treated like kings. It starts with the owner, Russell Pratt, and it carries out through every one of his employees.
Absolutely. Even on my arrival the night before I came in, they were taking my order out at my car, Bill. Seriously. I had some things to deliver, and they said, well, what are you drinking? And da-da-da-da. So, no, they're just great. And I told them, I said, my comment to them, I said, well, Russ hired you now. Very, very good people, Bill.
Very good organization and a great place. And like we've always said, if you leave here hungry, that's on you because there's always plenty to eat with just the simplest of order, 2-meat, 3-meat combo, or even the Mac special. You're gonna go away with a big belly full of food, and you're gonna be happy that you made a visit to Runt's Barbecue here in Muskogee. Now, speaking of happy, I'm always glad to have two guys like we have here tonight, Travis, and I know you're equally as happy not only to have them here, but to have them taking up the positions of leadership as seniors on the 2024 football team. Absolutely. Two of our four captains here tonight. Latavion Johnson right here to my immediate left, and obviously down one more seat is Jamar and Bird Ficklin. So superlatives, unselfish. I could say just put a bunch of adjectives in front of them. They just do a great job, and you could brag in so many ways on both of them. They've played hurt. They played injured, actually. With the one right to my left, they played all last year with an ACL tear. Still had right at 600 yards rushing. Moved into the linebacker position this year to hold it down for us to make us a great defense. So we all know Bird's concept, so Bill, take off with him, and let's give them some mic time because, like I said, they got some good stories to tell. And you want to eat. I don't know what the story is. I can't do that to you, but I'll look at it real hard. All right. Let's give you a chance to meet the young man that, first of all, wears the jersey number 4, Latavion Johnson. And, LJ, Coach talked about the fact that you played hurt last year. How much was that recovery process to be able to play your senior season healthy a driving force for you during the offseason?
It was a lot, pretty much. After having surgery, it was just a constant get back. They didn't rush me back. I didn't rush myself back. I trust the process. I had Buki in my ear every day. Take it one step at a time. Coach Hill, hey, don't push yourself too hard, but, we're going to need you back. So I saw you doing some of the 7-on-7 stuff, and you were wanting to do more than what they really want you to do. Exactly. I wanted to do way more. Just 7-on-7, it's competitive, so when you see them out there, you probably like, but once it start going, you just like, okay, now I really want to go out there and compete with my guys. Also want to talk to you about, Coach talked about service and leadership and sacrifice. You sacrificed this year because your position that you had last year was a running back. Mm-hmm. P.J. Wallace comes in and obviously has filled that position very, very well, but you said, you know what? I can still make a difference, and you've done that without any hesitation or regret at that linebacker spot. What was your driving force there to not only come in and play your time at running back, but then also to be the man in the middle? At the beginning, I was, if anybody would be playing a whole new position, I played it 8th grade, but we really just, how that go. So playing defensive now, it's just a driving force in my life. Like, I don't consider myself as one position. As Coach Hill told me after the first game, don't put a position on yourself. You're an athlete. Go out there and be a ball player. So that's how I think of myself now. And every day, I'm just keep driving for that. Travis, we know young people today, and not within the football team, I don't think, but just adults as well. Yes. Selfishness can get in the way of accomplishment. Yep. This young man has not shown any selfishness for himself, but more of a desire to give more than he receives. And that's hard to do as an adult, much less as a young 18-year-old young man who wants to go on and play college football and will be a running back at the next level. And I'll make him feel good. I talked to several people today, and those things are going to transpire. So I like for the audience to know that too. And that's what you get when you do sacrifice sometimes. He might wind up with better situations in the long run. Because what most of these college guys are looking for is not a position player. They're looking for a football player. And even, Bird went through some process today.
And when people want to know, well, what are these guys looking for? Bird, they didn't come down today to look for anything physically about Bird. They went around and checked all of his character issues out. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea. So that's high character, and then, like I said, I think Bird checked that with high character today.
Yeah,
too,
I think he's flown at a pretty high altitude in a lot of different ways. And let's give you a chance to hear from the guy who wears jersey number 1 and is virtually setting all new records every time he takes a snap and completes another pass, Jamarian Ficklin. Over 10,000 yards now. When you first stepped into the quarterback circle, I remember meeting you as an 8th grader. And first of all, I was totally stunned when I heard the deep voice as an 8th grader. But did you have those true aspirations? Did you really think that these type of numbers would come about?
Not really. I would say me and my dad always had a dream for me, and that was to just be able to get on the field as a freshman in my varsity year. We didn't know if it would be for quarterback. We didn't know if it would be for receiver, safety. Just find a way to get on the field and show I can be an athlete. Well, the doors opened up for me to be a quarterback, and when that door opened, I stepped through it and I ran with it. And that's basically how I seen it. I never really worried about what my numbers were, what my numbers going to be at the end of the season. I just played ball when I was told to.
Talk to me a little bit about what's going through your mind at quarterback. I mean, I know the plays come from the sideline, but sometimes you have to improvise.
Really just be out there and be an athlete. Make something good happen with the ball in my hands. They say never let anything bad happen, and that's what plays through my head. Don't let anything bad happen. Just go out there, play ball, be Bird, and don't try to do anything special that I wouldn't do that's not in my game.
How have you found that faster gear, though, when you pull the ball out of the belly of PJ? Sometimes you have to literally take it away from him because I know he wants, not to be selfish, but he wants his yards too. How do you turn that corner or step up into that gap and find that extra gear that all of a sudden you go from line of scrimmage to the secondary almost in a blink of an eye?
I turn that corner and I find that hole, and once I find that hole or crease, I hit it. It's almost like you're closing your eyes and you're just running, like you're running in the dark. You just run just to run. And that's basically what I do. I just find that hole, find that crease, and I don't think twice. I just hit the hole and I get out.
We talked about the passing yardage, now over 10,000 yards for his high school career that still has hopefully at least 3 more games to add to those numbers, and over 100 and I think 18 touchdown passes now altogether. What are you looking at when you know you're going to pass the ball? When the call is to pass the football, what are your reads? What are the progressions that you go through in trying to decide, hey, am I going to swing it out in the flat, or am I going to hit Jamie on the cross, or try to go deep to either Dre or whomever else you're trying to find in the end zone?
First, I look at the line of scrimmage. I find how many down linemen I have to figure out my pass protection, find out if I have any linebackers that are blitzing, or if they're dropping, or if they have a quarterback spot that's just standing there waiting for me. After I do that, then I'll end up checking the corners, see what type of coverage they're playing inside, looking at me. They're probably going to be in man. They're playing outside, looking at me, they're going to be in 2. Really just doing that. After that, I'll check the safeties, see how many safeties are high. There's 2, it's either cover 2 or cover 4, or it could be cover 2 man. But if there's one high, it's cover 3, or it's going to be cover 1. Or if there's no safeties, they're going to play straight men across the board. And then if they're playing straight men across the board, there's going to be protection coming somewhere, because you don't just play man across the board with linebackers dropping.
Travis, it sounds like we're in the coach's locker room.
That's good. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. In those scenarios, Bert, talk to me about how big a smile you get on your face and the gleam gets in your eye when you know the play that you guys have called and that defense is just for the taking.
I get happy, I be out there, I get a big grin on my face. I'm like, let's go, let's play ball. Let my receivers run, put it out there, let them go get it. Let them be athletes, and we're going to celebrate in the end zone.
Now, obviously, with all the notoriety you receive because of those results and those statistics and the fact that you have been the quarterback for the last 4 years, how important are relationships, not just with Dad or not just with Coach Hill and the other members of the coaching staff, but with your individual players? And how do you try to maximize and build? You got 2 other teammates here beside you. You know that they realize you're going to get your number called. But how do you build those relationships so that nobody has 1 ounce of selfishness?
The closest thing you need to get a state championship is going to be health and chemistry. Whoever's the closest, you're going to face adversity. But if a team is able to withstand that and stand up to play the game without all just beating down on each other, everyone talking to each other like they're all just brothers.
Sometimes brothers disagree, but in this case, more times than not, they all agree.
True, but I think Bart said it, and it's funny because I was listening to Mahomes and them talking about it the other day, just the idea. He said, and they were kind of negative to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't use that. We don't get Cowboy fans out there, but, they're pointing fingers right now, and this group's not a finger-pointing group. This is a group that takes on the responsibility within, and they settle the problem instead of, basically ignite the problem. So, and challenges do that to you, and you're either going to respond one way or you're going to split, or you're going to find a way to pull it together. And so they've done that, obviously, as we've seen in several tight games. Kudos to them because there's a choice to be made there. I mean, and it's hard, isn't it? We just talked about it earlier. So they're making the right choice, and I do think, Bill, what you're hitting on it's because of the relationships. You hear these two in the little podcast they do that we kind of started them like that. They play off each other, and they just do a great job.
Yeah, it's not scripted by any means.
No, it's not scripted, and I was really worried about that. Okay, as the head coach when they got together, they just play off each other, and they've known each other. How long have you guys known each other now? You and this tape?
Been a minute.
It's been about, I don't know, 8, 7 years.
Yeah, so that's just one of many relationships that we have on our team that have been for every bit of that, and so I just think that they've come together and. Connor over here helping us with the broadcast, says the same thing, and they all have different. But yeah, there's some differences at times, and yes, there's even some fight or two every once in a while. But
that's football, man.
Football, they all come together and they understand what it's all about, and it's fun to watch that. And that's like I said, that's the educational side of it. Society needs more of that, Bill. They really do.
Well,
yes,
we could use in every walk of life.
Yep.
In our homes as well as in our communities.
Yep.
Latavian, back to you real quickly. Talk about those relationships too, and how you and Bird or you and other teammates cultivate those close-knit relationships so that even then when there is a disagreement and you kind of have to get, to use an old terminology, eyeball to eyeball with each other, how do you maximize that result and come out with a positive ending?
One thing about it, we all brothers. That's one thing. We just all been close. The young guys coming up, yeah, we take them under our wing, but our group, the senior
you show
group,
them where their locker is and where everything goes, right?
Yeah, we're just all together. So if we have a disagreement, we ain't scared to come to each other and talk to each other about it. We might get in each other's face. That's just competitive. Like when we're in practice, somebody might get hit hard. Somebody might get up mad. That's what we're gonna do. We gonna compete, and then after we're gonna show love. That's what we're gonna do.
All right, very, very good, very well spoken by
Absolutely.
both of these young men. Now, last question, because I know Latavian Johnson had the well-done dinner. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Bird, he likes his a little. He can stand a little bit more heat, but maybe that's just because he's the cool, calm guy that he is, and he eats that medium rare steak. This is the last go-round, fellas. You got possibility of 3 more games. Have you thought about that, Bird? Have you thought about, man, I got 3 more games to play on the high school level. How is that fueling that fire of competitiveness?
I think about it all the time. He said to me at the beginning of the year, Bird, this is your last everything. Last spring ball, your last first game, your last home games. This is your last everything. Put everything on the field, leave it all on the field, and show no weaknesses and go out there and play ball. If you end up losing, lose because you played hard. Don't lose because you gave up and got on your knees and just begged to him.
How about you, LJ?
Same thing there. We got to go out and play. As long as you give it your all, hey, nobody can take that from you. You go out there, you lose the game. Hey, don't lose because you ain't play good or you ain't give it your all. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, one thing about it, guys, I see your family members, moms, grandmas, everybody posting all these pictures of you, and I see the pictures of when Latavian Johnson was a wee little boy. Not much taller than he is, or not much shorter than he is right now, but certainly a much younger clad, 2-3-year-old. See some of those pictures of Bird, and then I'll see the hashtag Senior Sunday or, Senior Today. Guys, it's senior night. It's not just senior night. It's senior every day as far as the next 3 weeks of high school football are left. What has it meant to the two of you guys to put on the green and white and forever be a Muskogee Rougher? Latavian, start with you.
I mean, it's been a ride. It's been ups and downs, and I'm just thriving. Like right now, senior year, it's just been
going fast,
great. I mean, it's been going fast, but it's been great. I mean, you're 10-0, got a bye week, and we plan to go win it again. So it's been great.
All right, Bird.
You know, it's really good. We got the community behind us. You know,
that's a big plus to it.
Yeah, you know, I walked into I went to go get donuts this morning, and the first thing I heard was, "Is that the Muskogee quarterback?"
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I was getting my donuts paid for. So, you know, I'm really going to miss Muskogee. And I'm always going to say it's a great day to be a Rougher, and I'm always going to say I'm from the Gee, and I'm never going to take that out of my heart.
Well, we're certainly glad that you guys have done what you've done, and now let's go finish the job the next 3 weeks.
Sorry.
Number 4, Latavia Johnson. Number 1, Jamarian Ficklin, our guest here. We're going to take our final time out. When we come back, Coach and I will talk about the playoff bracket that for 12 teams, the Class 6A football starts this Friday night, except for 4 of them who get the bye, including the Muskogee Roughers. We'll talk about the 6A2 football playoff picture. But first, this time out from Runt's Barbecue on the Tuesday night Coach's Show.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Roughers.
The world of education is driven by numbers. So is the one company more schools and universities call on when fire or water damage strikes. 1-800-SERVPRO. The #1 choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
When it matters most. The name to remember? ServPro of Muskogee. 918-913-4490. Online at servpro.com.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Back here in our closing segment, Bill Huddelston with the head coach of the Muskogee Roughers, Travis Hill. The road to state is, well, it's paved with good intentions. And there are 12 teams that will compete for the big gold ball. There are 4 teams that will get to wait at the exit or the entrance ramps, getting on this fast-paced highway this week. Muskogee, along with Stillwater, as well as Sand Springs and Choctaw, the top 2 teams in each of the 2 districts. But, Travis, there's some interesting matchups this week. Choctaw getting the bye. They'll meet the winner of Sapulpa and Eisenhower.
Sapulpa and Eisenhower playing at Sapulpa this year. Long trip for the Eisenhower Eagles. Is that correct?
Right.
I believe. And, I think it'll be a very defensive football game. I think Sapulpa they struggle a little bit offensively, but I do think Sapulpa come out on top. And, I'm going to go ahead and throw some things out here so our fans can see if the head coach has any clue about who might win or who not. I'm going to say Sapulpa wins in a tight game by 7.
All right, now let's go to the other bottom half of that bracket. Yep. Sand Springs finishing second in the Roughers district, getting the first week bye. They'll meet the winner of this Friday night's game between Piedmont entertaining Ponca City.
Yep, so, obviously we got the Piedmont 3 seed going against the 6 seed from ours, being Ponca City. going to Piedmont, it's going to be very tough on Ponca City. Probably very limited offense on Ponca City's behalf. And Piedmont now, they're not going to score a whole lot of points because of the fact they like to grind it out too. But I do think they'll grind it out and probably put 28 on the board in their flex bone offense. Probably get that one 28-7.
On the bottom half of the rougher side of this 6A2 playoff picture, Stillwater gets the bye.
Yep.
They meet the winner of Putnam City North, who the Roughers played last Friday night, and Southmore. Your thoughts on that matchup?
You know, Southmore's a team I'm not very familiar with. I haven't seen them on film all year long, so this is a touch one. I will definitely be guessing on this one right here. They got to go to Putnam North, our 3 seed versus their 6 seed. Now, you know, with that being the 6th seed though over there, they beat Piedmont earlier in the year in a tight game by 1. This is going to be a close game. I'm going to be a little bit of favoritism in this and go with our district on this and go with Putnam North with I'm going to say a 3-point win in a tight, tough, hard-fought football game.
All right, so we've dodged around to get into the Roughers' next opponent, the winner of Putnam City Original, the old PC High, the Pirates, against the Bruins of Bartlesville, and a team that the Roughers played earlier this season. Your thoughts on Willis Alexander's matchup against the Bruins?
Yeah, you go 4 seed versus 5 seed, the 5 seed coming out of ours. I do think that PCO is very talented. They got a lot of great athletes, and I just think that they're probably going to be a little too much for Bartlesville to handle. I do know that Bartlesville is extremely well coached. There's a lot of interesting things offensively, and at times you think, man, they don't have the firepower, but boy, they sure kind of find a way to pull it out. So I think it's going to be a little tighter. I don't think Putnam City will score a ton of points. So I think it'll be 21-7. You know, a little 14-point win, but I do think they'll come out on top.
In these winner-take-all, is it that big of an advantage for teams such as Putnam City North, as Putnam City, as Piedmont, or Sapulpa to be the home team?
I think so. You know, like I said, especially when you look at some of the travel. Travel, like I said, we like it and I enjoy it. But now there's still just some things there that are involved, especially later in the year. That the comfort zone at home is a little bit nicer. Maybe during the district and everything like that, it's not as big a deal. But I think when you're looking at home playoff games and advantages, that you're going to see more of the home teams definitely come out on top.
Well, go ahead and start making your plans. Get online, order your tickets in advance. Plan to pack the house at Ruffer Village for November the 22nd when the Ruffers will be in action in the 6A2 football playoffs. That's 1 week from this Friday night against the winner between Putnam City and Bartlesville. Coach, this has been a little longer program than we normally have, but like I told you during the break, when the two preachers get up there and start shouting out words of encouragement like Bird and LJ did, it's easy just to sit back and let them talk.
No, you could listen to them all day, and like I said, because it's not just listening. They're entertaining, but they are educational too, man. You know, and I'll still say this. I hate to let you know, I learn a whole lot more from kids than I do from adults, Bill. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
It's been great to have all of our viewers and listeners joining us here on Okie Country 101.7 KTFX. For Justin Ficklin, for Latavian Johnson and Jamarian Bird Ficklin, and for head coach Travis Hill, Bill Huddelston say so long from this Tuesday night at Runt's Barbecue, and we'll be back here next week, same time at 6:30. But until then, remember, as always, it's a great day to be a Rougher.